friends, welcome to Creating with Gorilla Art. Today we're making this cute little piggy and he's oinking up a fun time. Let's take a look at some of the supplies we're going to be needing to make this piggy. Here we go. We're going to be using acrylic paint. Unfortunately, it kind of blended into each other, but that's okay. We're going to make it work. We're going to be using pink, black, green, and blue, and some white. I think I've got it all. You're going to need an eraser, a pencil. You're definitely going to need a paintbrush. I'm going to be using, looking for it, a flat brush. This is what we call a flathead brush right there, see? And you can use any type of paintbrush really that'll work for you if you don't happen to have a flat brush, but I'm going to try that out. You're going to need some sort of water bowl. Keep your brush clean, and a paper towel or something to wipe your brush on. And you're going to need your imagination and have fun making this little piggy. Okay, so let's take a look at our little piggy here. Now, we're going to be using acrylic paint on this canvas that I've got down below. Show you that. It's obviously a bigger canvas than this one, so we're going to be making the piggy a little bigger onto this canvas. This is called a flat panel canvas. It's not stretched. It doesn't have, a lot of them you see, they've got about an inch or so, but this one's flat. I don't know if you can tell, probably can't tell. Ah, there you go. And I like those a lot. So like I said, we're using acrylic. It's just the inexpensive acrylic that you get at the, I've seen it at the dollar store. You can get it at Michael's or Hobby Lobby, whatever is convenient to you. And we're going to start off by drawing our piggy on here. Now, when you see a pig or something, anything really that you want to draw, you want to look for shapes in it. Always look for shapes. So as you can see with my pencil, I'm just kind of showing you, we've got a circle shape right here. And that is going to be our biggest shape. So when you're drawing, you want to start with your biggest shape. You wouldn't want to start with your little ear over here. I always find it easiest to do the biggest shape. So I'm going to put this up here. Oh, before I get to drawing, notice that my piggy isn't centered on the canvas. It is over and only part of his ear is showing. So we just got to keep that in mind when we're drawing it. So I'm going to start off. I'm going to draw a little harder than I think you should. You want to draw super gently. You know what else you can use too is chalk. If you have a colored chalk, like pink chalk would be perfect for something like this. And watercolor pencils are wonderful. In fact, I think I'm going to use a watercolor pencil. So you can see it. So I'm going to start off probably right about here. I think is a good spot for the top of his head. Got to make sure it gets off over here. Now it's not a perfect circle. You might even argue that it's starting to look like an oval. Okay, I think that's a pretty good size because I know that I'll have just enough room to put like a little peak of a ear right here. See that? And now I'm going to do the other ear. It's got a little point. Okay, so I'm going to start, I'm going to press a little harder so you can see it. I've got the size of my piggy head. And that's in a good spot because it's not in the middle. It's just over enough because we want to have room to show a little ear here on this side. And a little ear here. Gosh, you could turn that into Baby Yoda, huh? All right, and then we're gonna do the piggy shoulders. And I like how it kind of comes off to the side there. And that's how easy it is. Kind of a big circle, you've got your ear, and the little ear that's cut off in that. Now, let's look at our picture again. We got to come in here and do this little piggy snout. And it's kind of resembles a kidney bean, if you've ever seen a kidney bean. It has a little dip in here. But let's start off kind of in the center of his face. I'm going to start off doing a little dip. That's going to be the bottom of his nose. And it doesn't have to be perfect because you can always erase it. You should be using sketch mode, very gentle. I feel good with that. I can move this over a little bit. And then I'm going to put this little dip here. It's for where his mouth. And his nostrils are also going to be a little kidney shaped. Meaning they're almost like ovals, but they have a little dip right in there. I'm going to put his eyes in later. I'm not going to worry about his eyes because those are just going to be little black dots. No big deal. And we've got our piggy shape. Let's take a look at that. And I'm going to let you get caught up. Go ahead and pause me now. Catch up, and when you're done catching up, come back and we'll go to the next step. Well, welcome back. So I always like to start with the background when I'm painting. I just find it just easier to get that out of the way. And let's get started with that. The background on this is kind of very messy, very whimsical. It's not like very clean brush strokes. I definitely am going to show you a new technique, which is kind of a crisscross, and it does not have to be perfect. I love the whimsy of it. It also is a mixture of colors of green and blue. So I've got my flat brush. I like to hold it like a pencil. Switch this around. Okay. So here's our blue and our green. I always dip. Whenever I dip into paint, I always dip on the edge of my color, never in the middle, because you don't want to ruin it, especially when you're combining colors. This is double dipping, okay? I've dipped once in there, and then the second one was in that green. So I've got two colors. I'm going to start in the edge up here, and I'm just going to do this very fast, back and forth. My hand is almost doing like a crisscross. See how my wrist is just back and forth? I think sometimes the faster you do it, the better, because so many times everybody wants to be so perfect. And like I said, this is a very whimsical background. Back and forth. Sometimes also I like to turn my canvas so that the crisscrosses kind of come out a little different. When you start getting close to around your piggy, I like to just drag my brush. See how I do that? You drag it along, and then you want to feather out. See how it kind of made a line? You want to feather that line out so it doesn't look too perfect. So I'm going to do that on this whole side. Dragging my brush, I place it right next to the line, press it, and drag it. Now I'm going to come back. And I'm just going to make it a little more messy. Isn't that cute? All over. And if you want to add a little variety, you know what? You can put some white in there too. I like that. So I'm going to get all caught up on this. And I'm going to wait for you to get caught up. You can go ahead and pause me and get completely caught up with your background. Now, one thing you want to make sure is that you don't overwork it. If you continue to go over and over without putting new paint on your brush, etc., it's going to become one solid color. And I really like seeing all the brush strokes. So be careful that you don't overwork it. Add a little darkness to the spots that I think are too light. You want to make sure there's no peekaboos. Peekaboos are where you see some of the canvas peeking through the paint. If you see that, just go back over it. Okay, and there's our background. Isn't that cute? I love it. So I'm going to clean my brush. The way I clean my brush is I tap it in the bottom of my bowl 10 times. You don't want to smash it and ruin it. You're just tapping it 10 times. And then you want to dry it really good. Okay, so go ahead and pause me now, get caught up with your background, and then come back and see me. Hi, welcome back. So we're going to be painting our piggy, and we want to have some definite tones in there. Tones are when we add lightness to a color, and shades. We want to have some shades in there, different shades of pink, and that's when we add the darkness in there. But what we're going to first do is paint the whole thing a light pink right now. So we've got our regular pink. So what do we do to make it light? We add a little whiteness to it. So I'm going to scoot some over in a little pile here, and then scoot over pink. Notice that I didn't dip in the middle of my colors, remember? And I'm mixing it up. You want a good amount mixed because we got a big piggy to cover. And I think it doesn't even have to be perfectly mixed, by the way. I just think it looks nice when you have some other colors all throughout. So I like to press and drag. Press and drag. This gives you that crisp line that I told you about when we did the on the outside of it. Let's see. Now I'm just covering this all up here. Okay, I'm going to press and drag here. My piggy looks all nice and clean. He doesn't look dirty, like he was rolling around in the mud. He just got a bath. What can I say? Okay, I'm gonna press and drag here. Notice I'm going around the snout because we're gonna make the snout a little darker, so that's why I'm not painting on top of it. Blob there, let's spread this all around. We're gonna be definitely putting more texture on our piggy. All covered. And notice how this was the green was a little wet and I got it inside the piggy. That's okay. If you want in between, after you do your background, you can paint, excuse me, not paint, you can blow dry your background. That way you won't spread it around, but that's okay if you do. Oop, get a little bit there. Now I'm going to paint the inside of my piggy there, his nostril. So I'm going to add a little more pink to that pile that you had mixed. This way it's a little lighter than the original pink, but definitely darker than the one that you just painted all around. And if it's too hard to paint around that snout, you can paint over it. In fact, I'm just going to paint over it because the black, when you paint the black in there, it'll cover it. It'll go right over it. No problem. Get that all painted. then you know what? I probably should have painted this there a little darker. That's going to be black there in the middle. Okay, this is a good time to pause me, get caught up painting your piggy, and then come back. Hi, welcome back. So I'm just going to get going on my little piggy here. We got to add some texture. We don't want it to be this perfect little piggy skin. See how it has a lot of movement? That gives the illusion that it has texture on it. So let me show you what we're going to do. But before I do, let me give you a piggy joke. What do you call a pig that does karate? A pork chop. That was bad. That was bad, but funny. Okay, so I'm going to double dip. And this time I'm not mixing it. Okay, it's important that you don't mix. I'm going to double dip in the dark and double dip in the white. And also notice I didn't go in the middle of my paint. Okay, I did on the edge. And I'm going to come and do the same thing that you did on the background. I'm going to do it all over my little piggy. All over. And I'm going all the way till my brush is pretty dry. Hardly have anything on there. I would definitely start on this side, on the bottom, and then as your brush is getting dry, I haven't added any, then you're gonna come and do the face. And for the ears, I'll add a little more. I'm just kind of patting it down. I just like to do that sometimes just to add a little texture. I think it adds a little something, don't you think so? Okay, so we got that completely painted. See how fast that went too? Now we got to start adding the little details in. Okay, so the details would be the gray in the ears right there, little furry hair, a little bit there. It's got a little snout lines where his snout would be. Maybe a little gray right there. So we didn't have gray on our palette here, did we? But guess what? Easy to make gray. I'm going to scoop a little black right here. By the way, I didn't even clean my brush. It's okay if you have a little pink on your brush. And then I'm going to scoop white. Definitely want more white than black, because see how dark that is? It can't be that dark, really. You want it to be a very light gray. Very light. And I think it'll be nice to add a little pink in that gray. Okay. I'm going to get real close so you can see. Where's that? There you go. You see that color? Okay. And I'm going to come in and I'm going to do these little wispy ears, furry ears. And I'm just pressing, see how my brush is straight up? And then I'm just doing these little brush strokes all going kind of up. And I'm not pressing hard. If you press hard, you're going to lose that nice little line that you're getting. If you press too hard, let me show you, I'm going to move this. If you press too hard, you get, your brush goes flat and then you get this big fat line. I'm barely pressing, okay? Get a little more and do some little hair. I think that's funny. I'm going to add a little more pink to my gray, a little more pink. And then I'm going to come and do these soft outlines around the ears and everything. And when I mean soft, I mean I'm not pressing and doing this perfect little line. There's no perfection in this little piggy. He is just cute, being very gentle and not worrying too much about it. And I am going to do a little bit of a neckline. Add a little more pink. Okay. Maybe even, oops, too much, see? That's too big of a gray, so I'm just going to come back in with a little pink and soften that up. And I'll bring it over here. cute? Okay. A little more gray right there, I think. And then, oh yeah, I want a little gray. Right there. See that? Right about there. And then his little snout, just do a couple of them right there. Little curved lines. You know, they say the snout is so important on a piggy. They smell so good with it. They use that nose of theirs just to smell and find their food and all sorts of things. Okay, I'm cleaning my brush now 10 times. Now, what I want you to do is to get all caught up, okay? And then blow dry your piggy, okay? Use your blow dryer and get it all dry, and then come back to the video and we're gonna go to the next step, okay? Okay, so you got your piggy, it's all dry, and now I just grabbed a piece of chalk. You can use your pencil again, but if you have chalk, it's kind of nice because if you make a mistake, it's so easy to erase. You just use a little water and a paper towel. But I'm gonna use it to kind of come in and put those little kidney bean shapes for the nostrils in. I'm gonna take a look at it. Does that look good? Do I feel happy about it? And I do. That's where the eyes are gonna be. Now you can do any type of eyes you want. You know, you can do your cutie eyes, you can do a winking eye, you can do anything. I'm just gonna stick to the little simple black dots. I'm gonna show you how those work, or how to do them, my little secret. And I'm also gonna do the glasses because I happen to think it's really cute with the glasses. My little fun piggy. Oopsie, I think that's a little big. I don't know if you guys can see what I'm doing with that. So I'll tell you what, I'm gonna do it in blue. Does that show up better? I can't tell if you can see it. Oh, got my little glasses. Do that around. And then I'm going to draw the bow tie. And the way I do the bow tie is I like to do a square, but the corners of my square are rounded, okay? And then kind of do an elongated square, but it's not a rectangle. It's not quite a rectangle. Okay, there's that. Now, if you have a smaller brush, you can switch to one. But if not, I do like the flat brush because it'll still really work. I always like to clean it when I'm trying to get a crisp line, like I'm going to try for the glasses. I like to press it, and it gets a real crisp line. And like I said before, you want to not press hard at all, because if you press too hard, you're gonna get a big fat line. But if you just press gentle, it'll make a nice skinny line. Let's see. Very careful not to press too hard. If you have a small little brush, you could do that. You could probably even just, you know, grab a Sharpie and Sharpie the glasses in. I'm gonna paint. I'm just using green. I forgot to mention that. I'm using green to paint it in. Okay. Just kind of gently pressing. That. I have a fancy piggy who likes to dress up and cute. How many of you guys wear bow ties? Those are fun. I'm glad bow ties came back. A lot of people didn't wear them for a long time. Okay, so I got my green. Fix that. I feel pretty good. I'm gonna clean my brush, and I am gonna switch it to a round tip brush. This one's pretty old, so it's kind of fuzzy looking, but has a round tip. That's why they call it a round tip. And I'm gonna go ahead and dip in the black. Stay away from those glasses. And just paint my little nostrils here. Like I said, they kind of look like kidney beans. Okay. Paint this black in here. And the way I'm going to do his eyes is I'm going to dip the bottom of my brush into the black. That's the bottom of my brush. And I'm just going to polka dot it down. And there's my little dot. Easy. And I think our bow tie needs a little bit of detail. So I'm going to come in, kind of outline it. I'm barely pressing with my black, with my brush, because you don't want to have a fat line there. That, I think it might have a few little creases in there. Cute. And then you know what? I'm going to clean the bottom of my brush and I'm going to poke it in the white. I want to do some white polka dots. So I'm just dipping it in. I get about 2 dots before I have to reload my bottom of my brush. So got some polka dots showing. Let's see. And then on the original picture, I wrote oink. You can write whatever you want. Just make sure you clean your brush. I had black on there, so I definitely got to clean my brush. I'm going to come over here and I'm going to write oink. Let's see. Cute. So cute. What are you going to name your piggy? I don't know. Mine's just going to be called Mr. Pig. And then my favorite thing to do, everybody knows, anybody who knows me, my favorite, 2 favorite things, splatter and glitter. But right now it's splatter. I like to dip my brush in. I made sure I dried it, but not too dry. Dipped it in the white, and then I take another brush, or a pencil in this case, and I just tap it down. I just like splatter. I can't help it. I'm gonna do pink too. Who likes splatter? You guys like to splatter? So not everybody does. I know adults that are, oh my God, don't splatter on my painting. I love it. Messier the better. Now, if you had glitter or anything like that, you could put glitter on while it's wet. The background would have been pretty to put it on the background, or spray glitter. The last thing you want to do is you want to sign your name. Or you put your initials. Your initials are the first letter in your name and the first letter in your last name. Mine are TB. So there is my TB. Now don't worry if you see all of this chalk on there, because once you dry it, you can come back in with a wet sponge or a wet paper towel and wipe it. But be sure that you dry it really good, because if not, you might smear it and then you wouldn't be so happy. You know what? I don't know why, but I really want to add a little pink to my oink. The other one didn't have pink, but this one, I think it needs the pink. What do you think? Right there. I love it. So there's my little piggy. I absolutely want to see all of your piggies. Please find me on Facebook, find me on Instagram, and make sure you post a picture. You can tag me so I can see it easier at you can tag me hashtag Guerrilla Art Studio or hashtag Guerrilla Art Piggy. I look forward to seeing all your creations. Till the next time, bye!